Our speaker this evening is a lifelong West Virginian. West Virginia State Auditor Hunt has dedicated more than 4 decades to public service. An attorney by profession, he has served the people of our state as a legislative staff member of the West Virginia House of Delegates, served time in the state Senate, and is now our state auditor. In his current role, he serves as West Virginia's chief fiscal watchdog, working to ensure transparency, accountability, and the responsible stewardship of taxpayer dollars. Gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm Mountaineer Boys State welcome to West Virginia State Auditor, Mr. Mark Hunt.
Okay. So, thank you folks for having me, and thank you to the American Legion and all that you do here. It's unbelievable. I really didn't know much about this organization until before today. I'm from Charleston, grew up in Charleston, and I didn't know about Boys State. As I was saying, I was a pretty good student, graduated first at my high school, but didn't know about this. But I was a baseball player, so I've been playing baseball now anyway. Let me tell you a little bit, first of all, about me. And the reason I do that is because I understand what you guys are learning here. And I think it's important to understand how I got here and what it took, because I think your journeys will have to be fairly similar. There's no easy fixes to getting elected statewide. There's no easy fixes to running in 55 counties and winning every county. There's no easy fixes to that. It's a stepping stone, and it takes a lot of work. As said, I am the 22nd state auditor of West Virginia. State auditor is really a misnomer in West Virginia. My office does vastly different things. We do some auditing, it's about 17% of what we do. But I'll get to what the auditor does. But I'll tell you a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm from Charleston. I graduated first from my high school, went to college, I have a BA, I have a master's degree in public administration, which is what the auditor is. The auditor is a public administrator. The auditor is not an auditor. And I also have a doctoral degree. I have a law degree. I've been a practicing attorney for 32 years. So before I ran statewide for auditor, I ran for the State House of Delegates. I was elected 8 times to the House of Delegates. I served 16 years. I was the chairman of a number of committees. Then in 2022, I was elected to the state Senate. I served in the state Senate, and then in 2024, I was elected statewide as the 22nd state auditor of West Virginia. Now, the reason I bring that up, and the education and the background and the stepping stone, almost everybody has to do it that way. There's very few people, unless you're tremendously wealthy, can start with a statewide office. You've got to get the education. You got to give people a reason to vote for you. You got to get the education. You got to get the experience. You got to get the name recognition. You got to work. You got to work, and that's how you do it. And if you try it any other way, I know people that's ran 20 times and never been elected to anything. And I look at them and I think, goodness, you've never even served on city council. You didn't serve in your student government in high school, and you want to run for governor. It just doesn't work. Now, has it worked in the past? A couple of times. I mean, it has worked if you're willing to spend $40, $50 million to do it. It has worked. I'm not sure those were the most qualified people that were our governor or whatever office they held, because they didn't have the opportunity to advance through the steps and understand basically the needs of the people and what they're going to do. So to talk a little bit about the state auditor's office, The state auditor's office is very much a business. Unlike other state entities, we receive almost no state funding. As a matter of fact, last year we made almost $150 million, and that money we send back to government. We use about $25 million of it to run the office. So if we were a private company, you'd want to buy stock or tell your parents to buy stock because we make a lot of money, and it takes a little bit of money to run the company. We have about 170 employees, down from the days when previous auditors had about 215. So we have a large staff, and a lot of our staff has been with us 20, 30 years. Some really good people that work in the auditor's office. The auditor wears a lot of hats. I am the Commissioner of Securities. I'm the Commissioner of Delinquent and Non-Entered Lands. I'm the Chief Inspector General in West Virginia. I write the checks. I pay the bills. I keep the checkbook. So I know what the state's balance is every day. So when you think about what a treasurer does and what an auditor does, I'm really both in West Virginia, because we write the checks, we pay the bills, and then we actually audit the bills that we pay to make sure we're paying the right people and to make sure we're doing it right. Some of the divisions that we have in our office is, like I said, I'm the Commissioner of Securities. So anyone who has a security offering in West Virginia, stock, bond, whatever it may be, we review it and make sure it's safe for the citizens of West Virginia to purchase it. In addition to that, we sell all the property that people lose because they haven't paid their taxes. That's one of my least favorite jobs, but it's a job we have to do. We have to keep the property back on the tax rolls because that's what pays for our school systems. So we do that. I also run the state's computer system, which is called OASIS. Anything that gets paid, anything that's done in state government goes through OASIS, and the state auditor's office runs the computer system. In addition to that, the auditor runs the state procurement card. The procurement card is like a Visa card. It does about $1 billion a year on the Visa card, and we run the Visa card. We instituted the card several years ago. We maintain the card with strict scrutiny, but we maintain the state's P card. Like I said, about 17% of what we do is auditing. I'm not an auditor, I'm a lawyer, but my job is not auditing. My job is running that office with those 175 employees. My job is to make sure things get done. My job is to make sure things get done correctly. In our office, we also have a fraud unit called PIFU. That unit basically investigates fraud throughout the state. Fraud not only on the P card, but any kind of fraud within county and local governments. We collect and recover for the state millions of dollars a year in fraud. That's one of the many things we do. As state auditor, I am the only constitutional officer or member of the Board of Public Works that has police power. I can arrest people. I can actually try people. I have a badge. I don't use that badge because I'm not a law enforcement officer. I'm a lawyer. I'm a public administrator. But we have people in our office who are, and we have people in our office who do those things. And we have people in our office who keep the people of West Virginia safe. That's what we do. So being an auditor is a big job. Being the state auditor of West Virginia is a big job. It's almost like being treasurer and auditor, and maybe a few other things. That's who I am. That's how I got there. Now, where I go from here, I don't know. But right now, I'm going to try to do the best job I possibly can for West Virginia as your state auditor. So when you go home and tell your people, your family, and your folks, and your friends what the state auditor does, I think you know now it's really different than what it sounds like. It's very much, the name is a misnomer. We have our fingers in almost every aspect of government. And we have a lot of ability that the other statewide office holders don't have. And we work with them closely, and we try to all work together as a team. I understand that you had maybe the governor coming, but the governor, who is also a member of the Board of Public Works, he's the chairman, had a commitment, couldn't be here. And I really hate being second string to Miss West Virginia. I'm sure you guys enjoyed her a lot more than you've enjoyed me tonight. I would have liked to seen that myself. I haven't met the young lady yet either. So anyway, that's who I am, and that's what we do. That's how I got here. That was the struggle of getting here. It took a lot of loss. It took a lot of won races. It took a lot of lost races. It took a lot of time in the class books. It took a lot of time taking examinations to get here. But I made it. And I believe that everybody in this room, given your backgrounds, is going to make it. But you got to put your nose to the grindstone, and you got to do all the things that I told you. I remember when I was your age, I thought it was going to come so quickly, I thought it was going to come so easily. It doesn't. But if you work, I promise you, it will come. And if you work hard, I promise you, it will come. I used to be a baseball player, and I was a football player. I did everything, but baseball was my primary sport. And I always said, if you work as hard as you can work, and you play as hard as you can play, you will win. And 9 times out of 10, we did. So that's who I am. Now, I don't know what the format is. Do you take questions, or is that?
If you'd like to.
Okay, does anybody have a question about either me or what the auditor's office does?
You have a question on the left-hand side of the room.
Go right ahead. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I never wanted to be an auditor and still don't want to be an auditor. Like I say, about 17% of what the auditor's office does is auditing. I'm a public administrator, and I have a master's degree in public administration. What I do is I administer auditors. We have about 20 auditors, and we need about 20 more. It's very hard to fill those positions because the state doesn't pay as much as private sectors do, so we have a tough job in keeping people in auditing. But auditing is only 17% of what I do. But I'm not an accountant, I'm a lawyer. Anybody else?
Question over here.
Yes, sir. Hello?
What actually is the state balance? And my second question is, why did you want to become the state auditor?
Well, that's a good question. The state balance right now, we have quite a bit of money, and the revenues are coming in briskly. We have backed up about $800 million in various accounts. In addition to that, we have over $1.5 billion in the rainy day fund. Our bond rating is still better than A. So the state, by far, is not broke. We're moving in the right direction as far as revenues go. We just need to attract a few more people. And what was the second question? Why did I decide to be an auditor?
Why did you decide to be the state auditor?
Well, it's an interesting story, and I'll tell you real quickly. My first job out of law school was I was counsel to the state auditor. And the state auditor at the time was my roommate in college. And I went to law school, and he took a different direction. And I came and was counsel to Glenn Gaynor at that time, and I learned about what the auditor's office does and how crucial it is to the state of West Virginia, how much money it makes for the state of West Virginia. Just think about taking $150 million out of that budget, the numbers we just talked about. It'd be a tremendous hit. So I knew about the office. I felt it was something I could do. I felt it was something that I could improve on. And as a matter of fact, since I've been auditor, and I've only been auditor for a year and a half, since I've been auditor, we've increased our revenues over $10 million. And it looks like next year, we'll double that. Other folks? Yes, sir. Say it again.
So you said earlier we had all the money to fund jobs, but you said we didn't have the people to work those jobs. Do you have any ideas on how we can get those people?
Well, yeah, I think a couple things. A couple things is happening across the United States is that West Virginia is becoming more and more attractive to people. And I think West Virginia is becoming more and more attractive for a couple reasons. One, we have some of the lowest taxes overall in the country. Some states charge so much in property taxes that individuals actually pay it by the month. It's like a house payment. So people are looking at West Virginia and they're thinking, that may be a pretty good place to move to. And so I think as our business climate improves, as you see companies coming to West Virginia like Nucor, Berkshire Hathaway, others, I think other companies are following suit. So people will come, like the movie, Build It and They'll Come. Well, we're trying to build it. And when I was a legislator, we basically spent most of our time talking about infrastructure, building, this is not sexy, water and sewage programs, building things like that, but those are necessities for big companies to come here. Having an efficient and a reliable source of electricity, having an efficient and reliable internet throughout all 55 counties is crucial for companies to come here. So I know the legislature is working on that because just a year and a half ago I was a state senator. So I know the legislature continues with that struggle. But having said that, we all sit here now and know, particularly the older folks in this room, that we have counties like McDowell that's struggling with simple things like clean water, sewage. They have no internet. We go just down the road here, 79 to Clay County. Every time you drive past Clay County on 79, you have no internet. That's because Clay County is a dead zone. We have to fix all that. We're working on it. We got a big grant from the feds to improve our internet, several $1 billion. So we're working on that, but once again, build it and they'll come. That's what we're trying to do. Other questions? Don't be proud. If you want to be politicians, you can't be bashful. Way back in the back. An audit? You know what's funny? The biggest people will call me, and you would never think this would happen, but people will call me like I had a call from the town of Bell the other day, which is a town in Kanawha County. And the mayor said, please audit us. And you wouldn't think that would happen, would you? But the reason he wanted audited was because he was applying for a federal grant. And to be eligible for a federal state grant, you have to have a recent clean audit. So that's the biggest reasons that we audit cities, towns, and school boards, is to give them their clean audit so they can apply for grants. But the other reason that obviously we audit people is if we have some evidence of wrongdoing. And if we have some evidence of wrongdoing or misappropriation of funds, those entities go on the top of our list and we audit them and we try to correct what's going on. Now, 9 times out of 10, little towns are just making mistakes. And we help them clean up those mistakes and get back on the right path. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a few wrongdoers out there, and when they do, we prosecute. Other questions? Yes, sir. The basic process of an audit. We have a division called the Chief Inspector's Division, and I am the Chief Inspector of West Virginia. And what we do is we audit school boards, counties, cities, all governmental entities on a rotating basis. And unless we have an idea that there's going to be fraud or something wrong, so we audit them on a rotating basis. And basically what happens is 2 things. One, if we do an in-house audit, in other words, if we send our auditors there, they go and they take a sample of what they're doing. Let's say if they have 1,000 documents, we'll pick out 10 out of the middle and take a sample and we'll audit those 10. If those seem to be good, that may be very much the end of the audit. If those are not good, then we go further and deeper into their documentation. Now, we don't do all the audits because, like I say, we're short about 15 auditors, so we do hire private entities. and those private entities, some of the big auditing firms in the state, will come in and do the audits for us and give us the results. You done with me? Thank you, folks.